All right, thanks for being here, everybody. Montana beats Northern Colorado 40-0. Got Coach Houck. We've got Riley Wilson, had 3 sacks today. Got Nick Osmo. We'll start with some thoughts from Coach Houck. Coach, a pretty thorough win for the Griz and a good win over a conference opponent.
Thanks, Tabes. Yeah, certainly we're excited to get our 7th win of the season and get to 7-1. We're ranked 5th going into this game, and it's a good position to be in this time of year. First on Northern Colorado. They came in looking for a fight, and they fought hard, and I think we ended up wearing them down a little bit. But, Coach Lamb's a good football coach. He had that team ready to go, and they fought their tails off, and it didn't end up being close in the end, but it was close for a lot of the game. So good by them. It was good competition out there. I like our team. I like how our team competes. I like how our guys in general are not fazed by negative plays or things that go against them. I think they just play hard throughout, and they don't watch the scoreboard. And when the game's over, they look up and hopefully we've got more points than the other team, and we did.
Questions?
Coach, you said earlier in the season after, I think, the Idaho State game or maybe UC Davis, that your team wasn't really built to run away from other teams, but you did today. What allowed you to do that today?
Well, probably the 2 defensive scores. You score on defense, it makes a big difference. We had set up a couple of short fields with some special team stuff. It was just, I think it was more back to the persistence thing. Just keep banging away, and we wore them down. And, it was such a dominating defensive effort. I mean, a shutout's hard to get in modern-day college football, but to hold somebody under 100 yards of total offense is almost remarkable in this day and age. So that's probably why.
And Bobby and maybe Riley can chime in with this one too. We've seen sort of the resurrection of the pass rush in the last couple weeks. I think this is the 2nd straight game you've had 6 sacks as a defense. What's been behind that, just in your guys' mind?
Well, I'll let Riley talk about his. He had 3 sacks today, and that's a huge effort in the game. But it's really based. It's not a revival of anything. It's the quarterbacks the last 2 quarterbacks we've played have been willing to hold on to the ball and stand in there where some of the other guys weren't. So, when they hold on to the ball, our guys have the ability to win. So, go ahead.
Yeah, also, just, it kind of goes into play with the up front. Coach Linehan's really gotten those guys tuned in. And also just Coach Bradford and Coach Tim in the secondary. It starts up front, and then towards the back end, just a lot of those sacks just turned out to be coverage sacks. So, I made a couple sacks, but it ultimately starts with those guys up front and then the guys in the back just doing their jobs as well.
Bobby, you got Ka'ili Ayata's first college reps. Just what'd you like about kind of getting him in the mix? What made you feel like he would be a good asset for you guys today?
Well, we've had him in the number 2 spot for about 4 weeks, and we've intended to play him in each of those games, and there just really wasn't a juncture in any of those games where we felt good about plugging in a true freshman in his first college game. So we basically had decided that whatever the scenario today, we were going to play him, and it was good to get him in the game. We've intended to have a 2-quarterback system all year long, and that's what we intend to do.
Touchdown pass by Ayat has been a familiar call here in Missoula, but what did you like from his game today and how he maybe kind of settled in a little bit? Just how would you evaluate his performance?
I'm still thinking about the first part. What was the second part of that?
Sorry, I was trying to be clever.
No, I'll be clever back.
No, just what did you think of his performance? How would you evaluate how he did today in his first game?
Touchdown Ayat. There wasn't even electricity in the stadium last time that was said. So it's good to have a couple. Good to see him spin it. He throws a nice pass. Both scenarios. you know, we'll watch the film, but I thought he held up his end of the bargain today.
Riley, it was scoreless until Jackson Lee gets that pick six. Just talk about, I guess, your guys' effort in that first half and just him getting that play and how much that might have fired you guys up.
Yeah, I mean, those type of plays just build so much momentum. And shout out to Jackson Lee. You know, Braxton Hill also had another pick six. Just the Highway 1 boys just really stood out today. And, you know,
You don't even know what Highway is.
I heard them shouting it, so, you know. But, you know, that type
Make
of.
him show you.
Yeah.
It's a great piece of the world.
Yeah, just those type of plays just, you know, build a lot of momentum and just really help our offense as well, you know, the sideline. And I was running a blitz, saw Jackson pick it off, you know, and just boosted a lot of my energy, so it was a great play.
You touched on, too, just kind of it's all one unit, right? Like you guys making pressure, they throw a pick, maybe vice versa, guys are covered, you're able to get sacks. Just speak to that and how well that's been working the last few weeks.
I mean, I really just think that's what builds this defense is, you know, just everyone doing their 111th, what Coach Houck talks about, you know, and whenever you have guys in the backfield that are just locking up their man, and then you guys in the front like Gubby and Kale who are just taking double teams, it really just allows us linebackers to fit gaps and just make plays.
Then, Nick, same thing, just offense was kind of struggling a little bit to start, and then you guys kind of got rolling. You and Eli were playing well. Just what was maybe fixed, or how were you guys maybe kind of getting the flow and find some success in the second quarter?
We got set back a couple times on our first few drives and with some penalties, and I think that the defense score really turned it around, and then it kind of gave us some momentum, and like Riley said, it just kind of boosts everybody's energy. So it all goes into the line, quarterbacks making calls, line getting push off the ball, and just opening holes for us.
What's that like kind of in the fourth quarter when you could kind of feel like they might not want to, tackle you as hard? And what's that feeling like as a running back?
It's a good feeling, knowing that you can kind of break arm tackles and people aren't really going to try to put their hat on your helmet or their hat on you. Is just kind of boosting to gain yards and run a little bit harder.
Coach, I know it's hard to kind of nitpick when it's 40-0, but some of the
So you're going
penalties. I'm just going to throw a question out for you. Some of the the penalties, kicking game. What do you think as far as that aspect of it goes?
Penalties I'm not talking about because they'll fine me or throw me out or suspend me or something, so I won't talk about that. But kicking game was depends which part of the kicking game you want me to address.
Missed a couple field goals, extra
Yeah,
point,
all right.
kick off out of bounds.
Yeah, kicking it off out of bounds is never good. It's our only one this year. Kicked off quite a bit. The field goal is an offensive function. We don't view that as a special team. However, we've got to make kicks, and it wasn't good enough. I'm glad it was good last week.
When you're using two quarterbacks, what do you like about being able to bring in two guys like that within a game?
I like the versatility in the offense and the ability to make them defend a lot of different things.
And then when it comes to figuring out who's going to take a drive, is that solely your call, and how does that work? And how is it just a field
we
thing?
work together as a staff.
Nick, you, Eli, and Xavier combined for over 250 yards today. Obviously, big credit to the O-line, but what's it like to share a backfield with those two guys?
It's great. Those guys are great guys, and outside of football, we all hang out, and we're all really good friends. So it's uplifting to have those guys running with you. Like you said, the O-line really got us some push and opened up holes for us, and I think they did a really good job today.
Nick, on that note of team almost running for 300 yards combined, what were the factors that led into that success today?
Like I said before, it all starts up front. O-line opening up holes for us, and then quarterbacks open up the field with their throwing ability and making the right calls and just putting us in the right position to run the ball.
Riley, I thought the scores at the end of the first half and start of the second half were huge for you guys, but defensively, and before each of those scores, you guys got a couple penalties on those drives, but the defense, stood tall and forced a punt or a turnover on down. So how were you guys as a defensive unit able to stay composed and make those big plays when you needed?
I just think it's just really sticking to each other's side. Football is a game where you get some setbacks, and, we got put in some situations, like you said, where we had to really step up. We just talk about everyone just doing their jobs and just sticking to their guns.
And Bobby, what can you say about why Hunter McGinnis did not play today?
It was a health issue.
And then you tied Jerome Sowers for the all-time record among wins among Big Sky head coaches. Just what does that mean to you to be tied with, be at the top of the list, but maybe even to be tied with him too?
Yeah. Well, I hate turning this back on me because we had a bunch of players that just played their tails off. But it was interesting going by Coach Reed in 2018, and then equaling Jerome's record today. Jerome Sowers and Don Reed, along with Terry Donahue and Rick Neuheisler, are the guys that got me into coaching. So it's, I suppose, it's pretty much a privilege to be able to do that. And those are the ones that had the record, I guess. Humbling.
Bobby, you mentioned just how difficult it is to have a defensive performance like this in college football. Just what can you say just overall about that? 1 for 15 on third down, 94 yards total. Just as a whole, what can you say about what those guys did today?
Yeah, it was a really great effort by our defense and our defensive coaches. Shutouts are difficult, but to hold somebody under 100 yards is really something. I think it really starts with the fact that we're a great tackling football team. We have a great tackling team. Even the offensive guys that play in the kicking game tackle well. So it starts there. We're doing a good job of I think our linebackers are doing a better job than ever, getting off of blocks, playing with their hands. The front guys the same, and obviously it's showing up on the scoreboard.
Riley, similar question for you. Just have you ever been a part of a performance like this, and just what was it like on the field? As you guys were doing this, did you even notice it?
We try not to pay attention to, the scoreboard regarding our success and stuff, but just playing my part, I just take it play by play, just doing my assignment and just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Then Nick, just to go back to the quarterbacks, just for you, what's it like just kind of working with, kind of a shuffling deck and just kind of each of these guys, what's it like, lining up with them, and what do they both kind of bring to the table?
They're both very on point, so it doesn't really change much who's in. Comfortable with both guys, and we practice with them all week, so they both did a good job.
Anybody else?
Thanks, guys. See you all
Appreciate it.
Monday.
Thank you, guys.